Welcome to Rybrook TV and welcome to the Maserati Levante GT Hybrid. Let's start our look at the Maserati Levante down at the front end. And it's actually my favourite part of this car. It's my favourite angle. It looks so aggressive and so Maserati, like you know that this is a Maserati from the second you see it. Mainly because of the trident right in the middle of this enormous black grille here. With all the air intake, it just looks fantastic. Now this car has got the sport design package as well, so the front bumper is a slightly different design. You've got the black splitter down here and the headlights. They look so aggressive, thin and purposeful. I really do love the front end of this car. As we move alongside the Levante, it still looks SUV but coupe-ish. And I think that's what they've gone for with this car. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. At the front, you've got the three slats here, which are blue, which shows that this is a GT hybrid. You've also got the GT designation above there. This car, we've got the silver 20-inch alloy wheels. Now you can go a bit higher than that. You can have 21s or 22s. On the different models. So in terms of models, we've got this, the GT Hybrid, you've then got the Modena S, and the Trofeo with the thumping 3.8 litre V8. But anyway, let's go back to this one. Let's move along the side. I really like the chrome elements throughout this car. I think it ties in beautifully with this spec. It's quite a clean design along the side until you get to the rear, the C-pillar. You've got the trident on the C-pillar, but then it almost just tapers out really nicely. It just sweeps into the rear of the car. You'll notice that the Maserati Levante now looks a little bit different at the back. Well, it hasn't long undergone a bit of a facelift, a bit of an update to keep it fresh. So the rear now is more or less the same, however the lights have changed. We've got the boomerang rear lights, and you're probably thinking, I've heard of boomerang rear lights before, and you'd be correct, because they were first seen on the 3500 GT from I think it was the 90s, I might be wrong, correct me if I am. But I think they look absolutely great on this car. They're really thin and really beautiful. Now even though this is the 2 litre 4-cylinder hybrid, we've still got quad pipes on the back of there, and well, you'll hear those in a little bit because I think they still sound amazing. But that's enough at the exterior. Let's now jump inside and have a look at the interior. So super quickly before I jump in the driver's seat, I just wanted to have a look and see what the headroom and legroom is like in the back of the Levante, because you'd think that with this sloping roofline there wouldn't be that much room. And well, this is an SUV, so surely it should still have loads of space. And it does. This is actually a really lovely place to sit in the back. I mean, I'm probably 5'11", so not exactly the tallest person in the world. However, there's plenty of headroom for me, plenty of knee room, and it's just a really nice place to sit. The back bench is nice and roomy and feels just nice to sit in. But now, let's just go straight forwards and go into the driver's seat. Something I've just noticed before I look at the interior is these are pillarless doors. That's a very unique thing. I think it's only the Urus, the Lamborghini Urus, that has those in terms of SUVs. Let me know in the comments below if I've missed any, but that is such a lovely addition to this car. But now we're inside, let's talk about it. Steering wheel in front of me is nice design, it's nice and chunky, you've got plenty of grip on there. I like the design of it as well. And overall, to be honest, I really like the design of this interior. I love the fact you have the trident embossed into the leather on the headrests. The infotainment system is the 8.4-inch touchscreen, and you know what? It's actually incredibly easy to use. Let's just turn it on and show you. It's really responsive, it's nice and quick, and it's brilliant. It sits nice and flush to the dashboard here. It's nice high resolution, and there's no controls on the screen for the air conditioning and so on, as is the case with a lot of cars now. Air conditioning controls and so on are going onto the infotainment screens. Not so here. You've still got all the physical buttons, which actually I really like. Down in the centre, again, more buttons. So you've got your off-road, you've got your internal combustion engine mode, and you've got your sport mode, and then your damper mode. You can also, because this car has air suspension, which we'll get onto a little bit more when we go for a drive, you can raise and lower the ride height of this car from this button here. It's fabulous. There's loads of room in here. I love the panoramic sunroof in this car. You've got Alcantara headlining as well, which feels just fantastic to the touch. And all in all, it's actually a really nice place to sit. Another thing I really like, we've got analog dials in front of me for your speed and your revs. That's a dying thing now. Everything is all digital, and yes, there is a digital display in the middle which shows your speed and different informations, tyre pressures and so on. But I don't know, it's just actually really nice to have just proper, just analog dials. I really like that. Another thing that's lovely in this car, the paddles. Can you hear that? They're metal and they are so lovely to hold and so nice to use. I actually really like the interior of this car. It's nice and spacious. There's all the technology you're going to need. But really, it's a Maserati, so surely it should still drive well. Let's go and find out. So then, the driver's seat of the Levante GT Hybrid. Now, first things first, the drivetrain. This car actually isn't a hybrid. Well, it kind of is. It's a mild hybrid. It's not a conventional plug-in hybrid, so you don't plug this car in anywhere and charge it. No. Instead, we have the 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine up front, and then we have a 48-volt mild hybrid system with this car with something called an e-booster, which when working together give 330 horsepower, which means that 0 to 62 miles an hour sprint is dealt with in 6 seconds, which actually is exactly the same as the V6 in the Modena. So this 2-litre 4-cylinder is just as quick as the big V6, which is incredible. It actually uses 18% less fuel. So actually, this is a pretty good option as an alternative to the V6 if you are conscious on how much fuel you're using. And you get the added benefit of the mild hybrid system. So when you come to a stop, it does that last little bit, it coasts the last little bit on electricity, which means that you get better miles per gallon, better emissions, better pretty much everything. And then let's move on to the way this car drives. We've got air suspension all around on this car, and it does a great job at soaking up the bumps. As an everyday usable car, really enjoy driving this thing. It's very comfortable. It's actually very quiet in here as well. I was kind of expecting a bit more road noise, if I'm honest, from a Maserati, but no, it's just very easy to drive. The steering here is easy to place on the road. You know exactly where all the corners are. The visibility is actually very good. I love this panoramic sunroof as well. It just gives this cabin a really nice airy feel. It's a great place to sit. I've already touched on the interior, which I really like. And to drive every day, it's a very civilized, easy, usable car. And I'll tell you something as well, it turns heads. That's not something I was expecting, to be honest. It turns heads. The Maserati brand is so powerful, and it's such a cool thing to be able to say, oh, what car are you in? It's a Maserati. There's just something so soulful about the brand, and that's mirrored with the way this car drives. It feels very capable and very usable, but then there's still something. There's a bit of passion and a bit of Italian flair to this car, which really shows its head when you put the car into sport mode and start playing around with these fabulous metal gear selectors. Now, even though this is only a 2-cylinder, let's pop it into sport, drop it down a few gears. The one thing that Maserati have really tried to do is keep the soul and keep the essence of the brand. And that, for me, and for most people, is the way they sound, because, well, rather famously, Maseratis sound absolutely incredible. And well, this 2-litre 4-cylinder still, listen to this. It's still got a real soul and character to it. On the upshifts, there's a real burble, I don't really know what to call it, but listen. Boom. Oh, it sounds great, and these shift paddles are so lovely to use. And then when you do then start to think about how this car drives, yes, it's not completely flat, but you're not going to get that. If you want the real cutting edge of Maserati SUV technology, you go for the Levante Trofeo with the big V8. this is just the hybrid. This is almost the entry-level car into Maserati. But even so, oh, it's still got some real character to it. It really still comes alive when you press that throttle, and it feels pretty quick. I mean, it's not going to light your hair on fire, but for what you'd ever want, oh, that was a big one. They sound fantastic, and it feels more than quick enough. It feels really punchy and torquey, this engine. It's really bizarre to say this, but it almost feels like a diesel in a good way. The torquey characteristic of a diesel, where you just put your foot down and it just goes in an effortless surge. I am actually really impressed with this car. This is only my second experience with Maserati as a brand. I've driven the Ghibli Trofeo, and if you want to see that video, use the link in the top of the screen to go and check it out. If you'd like any more information on the Maserati Levante, or any Maserati for that matter, we are now a full Maserati retailer down in Bristol. Please use the link in the description of this video to contact the sales team down there. We also service your cars, so again, if you've already got a Maserati and need some aftercare, again, use the link in the description of the video to speak to the team at Maserati Bristol, and I'm sure they'll be able to help you with anything that you need. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel for plenty more content to come, and I'll see you next time.